And so today I'm really, really excited. I think this is going to be my best day. We have Giriraj Maharaj who's going to speak something now. And right after him will be Niranjan Maharaj. And if our schedule goes properly, we'll see a video after that from Romapad Maharaj. And then Madhu Mangal Prabhu, the temple president, former temple president of Gurugram, the Delhi area. And then our dear godbrother Sundarananda Prabhu. And then our dear friend Hari Parashya Prabhu. And then the last part of the session will be Chandramoli Maharaj. So I just like to say a few quick words to introduce His Holiness Giriraj Maharaj. As I said yesterday, sometimes me trying to introduce Giriraj Maharaj is like a firefly trying to introduce the sun planet. It's just a joke. Giriraj Maharaj is such a wonderful, famous personality. And I love hearing about his exchanges with Srila Prabhupada, from which we can understand how much love Srila Prabhupada had for him and how close he is with Srila Prabhupada. And Maharaj is a very, very senior, very important member in our society. He's constantly being requested to speak everywhere. That he's here today with us is such a very great, great blessing. I could go on and on speaking about him, but he might get annoyed with me. And also, we'd much rather hear him say something. So please, Giriraj Maharaj, we'd be delighted if you can say a few words. Is he muted?
Thank you for that introduction. And, I have conceived of my appreciation to Sripad Gour Govinda Swami Maharaj as a talk with him. So yes, I'm addressing this to him. In 1996 in Mayapur, some days before Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's appearance day, I received a telegram from my father saying that he had had a stroke and that although he was apparently out of danger, he still would like me to come. In the 25 years since I had joined, my father had never really asked me for anything. So after consulting some close godbrothers, I decided I should go. I got my reservation to leave on Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati's appearance day, but before leaving, I wanted to see Ravindra Swarup Prabhu, who happened to be upstairs in the GBC conference room with the educational subcommittee. As I entered, I saw you, Gour Govinda Swami Maharaj, seated at the table just to my left. You had come late for the meetings and had just arrived in Mayapur the night before. As I had not seen you since you arrived, I took the opportunity to bow down and place my head at your lotus feet, and you affectionately rubbed my back. You smiled at me warmly and looked at me with eyes full of love and brightness and bliss. I explained to Ravindra Swarup Prabhu that I would be leaving, and again I looked at you. We exchanged happy glances and smiles, and I left. Only some weeks later did I find out that on the very day I had left Mayapur, you had left for the Supreme Abode. From Mayapur, I had gone to Miami, where my father was in the hospital, and only after I accompanied my father to Chicago and spoke to the devotees there did I learn of your departure. At first, I couldn't believe it, but then His Holiness Radhanath Swami came to visit me, and he confirmed the news. I first heard of you from Bhagavat Das, a friend of mine who had served with me in Bombay and with you in Bhubaneswar. He told me about the saintly person who lived in a grass hut and was translating Srila Prabhupada's books into Oriya. So even before I got to meet you, I had a very favorable impression of you. But I really got to know you when you came to Mauritius. Mauritius is a small island in the Indian Ocean between India and Africa. At its widest, it is 40 miles across, and at its longest, 60 miles. At that time, you were very seriously translating Srila Prabhupada's Srimad Bhagavatam into Oriya to have it ready in time for Srila Prabhupada's centennial. Still, we got the opportunity to have many wonderful exchanges. Whenever we drove from the temple in the town of Phoenix to the temple at the farm in Bonakai, we would ride in the car together and discuss. So I had many opportunities to speak with you. Also in classes, you would give very long classes, and at the end I would ask questions. Once, at the farm in Bonakai, I referred to the verses in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya 22, 128 and 129, about the 5 most potent forms of devotional service. Sadhu Sangha Nama Kirtana Bhagavat Shravana, Mathura Vasa Shimurtira Shradaya Sevana. One should associate with devotees, chant the holy name of the Lord, Srimad Bhagavatam, hear Srimad Bhagavatam, reside at Mathura, and worship the deity with faith and veneration. Sakala Sadhana Shrestha E Pancha Anga, Krishna Prema Janmaya E Panchera Alpa Anga. These 5 limbs of devotional service are the best of all. Even a slight performance of these 5 awakens love for Krishna. I told you how much I cherished Mathura Vas, residing in Mathura or Vrindavan, and you replied, looking at me straight in the eyes and with quite some firm intensity. Kamsa also resided in Mathura. You spoke these words to me with great love and affection, passion, yeah. And I felt that you were seeing straight into my polluted heart and acting to purify it. You instructed me that the goal was not to reside in Mathura, but to actually develop the consciousness of devotee. So we discussed many things. Even at the airport before you left Mauritius, we spoke for an hour and a half, very intimately. You mentioned the predicted 10,000-year golden age within Kali Yuga, giving some scriptural reference for it, which I had never heard before, and explaining your hope that ISKCON would usher in that golden age. And you told me about yourself also, how at your first meeting with Srila Prabhupada, he had engaged you, and how later you had brought Srila Prabhupada to Orissa. You also told me how you had found guidance after Srila Prabhupada left, how you had developed the notebooks you kept with various verses, and how you would quote from the notebooks when you gave class. You told me so many helpful things. I remember your eyes. They always seemed moist with tears of love, tears of joy. And your voice was always full of affection and enthusiasm and the ecstasy of realization. In my mind's eye, even now, I can see your eyes and your smile. Your head slightly nodding, your eyes looking into mine, blinking, and your face smiling. The other main opportunities we had to meet and discuss came mainly in Juhu. You would often leave India from Bombay, and when you returned from your tours abroad, you would also come through Bombay and stay in the Juhu guest house. There, too, we had many wonderful discussions. One evening, I had a preaching program, but before leaving the temple, I wanted to visit you in your room and just offer my respects. When I came, you suddenly began to describe a most wonderful pastime of Radha and Krishna and how they were assisted by Vrindadevi. Once, when Krishna failed to meet Radharani at the appointed time and place, she sent her girlfriends, Sakhis, to investigate. And when they reported that they had found him at the secret grove of Radharani's rival, Chandravali, Radha manifested the ecstasy of transcendental, loving, jealous anger, man, and thereafter she refused to meet him. Distraught, Krishna tried in so many ways to break her man, but nothing he said or did would pacify her. Finally, Vrindadevi came to him and advised him to disguise himself as a sannyasi and beg some charity from her. When he did, Sri Radha could not refuse, and she gave him what he asked, prema. And thus the divine couple was happily reunited. I had heard and read many pastimes, but I had never heard this particular one. And you were narrating it in such an animated way. I was just enchanted and did not want to leave. But time was passing and I was getting later and later for my program. Still, I could not tear myself away. Finally, you ended, and I told you I had to go for a preaching program. And so I left feeling very enlivened by the Krishna Katha you had so blissfully narrated. You were and are a most extraordinary devotee. Although you were advanced in age and your health was frail, you took the trouble to travel all over the world like a young man, preach the message of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Srila Prabhupada, and enliven the devotees. You are a great and magnanimous soul. Other devotees have documented your purity, your presentation of the philosophy, your achievements and contributions to the movement. Here, I just wanted to relate my own experiences with you and my feelings for you. We miss you. Souls such as you are rare indeed. You are a great source of strength to the movement. But although you have left, your legacy continues. When I received a copy of Sri Krishna Kathamrita, dedicated to the subject of Vaishnav Aparad, the mad elephant offense, from the quality of the Krishna Katha in the magazine, the intelligence with which the articles were conceived and arranged, I felt, yes, your legacy is continuing. Your disciples and followers are continuing your mission. I felt very enlivened by the purity of the Katha in the magazine. I felt both chastened and inspired. You assured us that we can get association and guidance even after the spiritual master leaves this world. How? So you assured us, Gour Govinda Swami Maharaj, that we can get association and guidance even after the spiritual master leaves this world. How? Through the Guru's instructions and through the instructions of Shastra and Sadhu by the Guru's mercy. You said, quote, "The instruction of Guru is also Guru. You'll get Guru Kripa, the mercy of the Guru, through his instructions, Vani. One who is very, very eager and very, very inquisitive will pray to his spiritual master. "Oh, spiritual master, you are not physically present, so I cannot understand. I am such an ignorant fool. I have no qualification. Though your instructions are there, I cannot understand what you have said. Please help me." The Guru will come, but not in the same form. He may come in the form of a sadhu, a very dear devotee, who is also very dear to your spiritual master. Through him, knowledge will be revealed. Doubts will be cleared. Through him, you will be able to understand tattva, purport. You should think, my Guru is teaching me, speaking to me in this form. Don't think, my Guru is not here. He has departed. What shall I do? Pray fervently to your spiritual master. He must help you. We have personal experience. We have been helped in this way. Also, the great Mahajans, Acharyas, have said this. It is an eternal process. Krishna is eternal, and his teachings are eternal. The process is eternal, but we should be very, very inquisitive. We should not feel desperate. There is no reason to be pessimistic. We should be full of optimism in this process. And Srila Gour Govinda Swami Maharaj, you fulfill that function of giving guidance to so many devotees after our beloved Srila Prabhupada left. And you spoke from realization, and you inspired all of us with your realizations and merciful association, which is continuing through your Vani. I conclude with the immortal words of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, inscribed at the tomb of Haridas Thakur in Jagannath Puri. He reasons ill who says that Vaishnavas die, when thou art living still in sound. The Vaishnavas died to live, and living tried to spread the holy name around. I never fully realized how much I love you. It is certainly your kindness upon me. And I pray that you, from your position, will bless me, that I may be a good servant of my spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, and ultimately become qualified to serve Shri Radha Govinda, Gopal Ju. Thank you very much, your eternal servant, Giriraj Swami. Hare Krishna.